It's time to make bread again. Alright, it looks good. I think I'm gonna let it sit for an hour and then we'll start on our next steps, but it came together pretty good this morning. Put in my salt. Alright, I fed the starter like around 10 o'clock last night. It's almost 10 this morning. It expanded a decent amount. It smells really good. Measure it out. Okay, I think we're good. It's mixed together okay. It's a little bit sticky, but I think it'll be alright. So I'm going to put it in a grease bowl and give it an hour. Then we'll start on our folds. Alright. It's been an hour. Feels good. Hopefully be able to fold it okay. And it's always nice to find a little piece of whatever that is in there. Alright. Smooth it out. It was a bit, when you saw it was a bit rough, but doing these folds really makes it go pretty smooth. So I just want to make sure get enough folds in there until it's super tight. I want it to be nice and tight. And there we go. I think we're good. And of course, after we do our last fold, you give it a good slap, and we're good to go. So first fold is done, and now give it an hour and do it. We have 2 more folds ahead of us. We seem to be on the right path right now. Starting to look like it's supposed to. It's a little bit jiggly. Got my hand wet here. Nice and stretchy. I feel those little air bubbles in there, and that's good. once I start doing the stretches and it looks real smooth, so I know that's a good sign. Look at that. See how smooth it looks when you do that? That's good. We're in the right. We're in good shape, I should say. This it seemed a bit wet. Seemed a bit kind of. It's just a matter of time. This isn't incredibly hard to do. It's just time consuming, and like everything else, takes a lot of practice. I think that's it. I think we're in good shape. So I like that. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna smooth it out right there. So hopefully we'll start seeing bubbles in the next hour. So fold 2 is done. Wait another hour and we'll do our last fold. Last fold. I think, yeah, it feels good. We get a lot of air bubbles in here too. That's good. I can feel it when I pull it too. It's already starting to tighten up. Pockets in there. It's in good shape. So that looks really good. So give it a little slap for good luck and give it an hour rest. Give it an hour rest. Then we'll work on shaping it and putting it into the pan and again proofing it, but everything's good. The part you don't see is me cleaning out, moving everything and cleaning this whole surface before I do this, because I'm so afraid of having some thing and then it gets in the bread, and keep it as clean as possible. That's a good rule of thumb for everything, but I do it like twice when I do this. I can keep it clean, obviously, but this I just take extra measures and take extra time. Anyway, this is coming along. I think we're in good shape. So give it a little. I'm gonna let it proof for about 2 hours, maybe more. This has a good amount of starter in it, so I think it won't take too long to get some movement. And so far, my breads have risen almost double, like 35-40% maybe. And so we do get rise, and there is air in here. It's not jiggly. Actually, it is jiggly. You know it. That means it's good. So coming out, came out in good piece. Nice and damp. I want to stretch it out. There's some dampness there, but that's not a problem. A little bit of flour. I stretch it out like this. I did this by accident, like 3 or 4 loaves ago, and the loaf came out beautifully. Came out really, really pretty. I think that's the one I gave to my in-laws, and they really liked it. This, I think, it's already pretty, but look at that. See? One clear thing. So Maybe I only need to proof this for like a half hour, maybe an hour. This thing's pretty close already. I think we might already be there. So there's some extra flour. I don't. This part will look weird, so that's cool. It'll have its own personality. It's interesting how every single one of these breads has, even if I go through the same process, it still has a unique attribute of some sort. They're like people, everyone's different. So, I'm gonna cover this. Cover this, and then on to baking. So maybe only an hour. It's pretty close. Okay, we're about 40 seconds from getting it out. I didn't show putting it in or even what it looked like after I took it out. So I'll give you more of a reveal. But it looks good. It smells good. We'll see it in a few seconds. I think it's just aesthetically, I think it's one of the better looking ones. So that doesn't equate to good flavor. But I've noticed that after I've had this starter since the beginning of April, and now it's the beginning of August. The flavor has gotten more, I guess, more robust, or it's a lot more dynamic. It's gotten better, I think. As long as I just keep up with it, the flavor will evolve. Okay, here's time. Although I could be wrong about that part, I don't know. It can definitely go. It still could go a few more minutes. I have it just a little bit light. I want it to have a little bit darker color to it. So like, let's do 3 more minutes, and then that should be it. It looked okay, but then when I saw it, I've been looking at that through the glass in here. I need to clean that glass is what I need to do. I'll do that tomorrow. Looking through there, it looked okay, but when I looked at it in the light, that's why I have this light on too. So I get really good light on it, so that way I could see it really well. And it didn't look as dark as I want it to, because I like it a little dark, because that adds a little bit more flavor. My wife loves the beginning of that slight burn. It adds a little bit, not too much, just a little bit on the ears. Really adds a little more flavor to it. So just a few more minutes, and then we'll go. So we're looking at about 5 minutes. I looked at it at 3, and I was like, let me give it a few more minutes after that. So we're just around 5 minutes and just under a minute on the timer. I reset the timer. The timer to go. I think it's ready now. It looks good. It's an interesting one. Like I think I said it before. All of them have been unique. There's not anything. I don't know if that's good or bad that there's not uniformity. I would just say that's just the way. That's the nature of the game. But the flavor's been good, which is what matters. So, because you're eating it ultimately. I definitely like to take a picture of it and make a video of it to show how it looked, but I'm not. The end game is to eat it, and if it looks good, terrific. But as long as it tastes good, that's what really matters. I'm just filibustering here until it's done. Okay, here we go. All right. Real pretty loaf. If nothing else, it looks pretty. Looks like one of those fake loaves again. I could see in a Japanese restaurant showing their wares. This is crazy. Wow, this is a really, really smooth one. I noticed I got it kind of smooth when I was shaping it and putting it in the pan. But, well, okay, let's take it out of this thing. But yeah, look at that. Has a lot of bubbles all through here. There's bubbles all around it. That's great. Big ones right in the middle too. So, it smells really good. It smells like really, really good. Wow. Okay. Just something, I don't know if it was the weather, or maybe maybe the starter, like I was saying earlier, it's maturing. Maybe all those factors together, I don't know, but it's really, this one's really nice. It just smells good, so I'm excited to taste it. That's going to be in a little while. I started this today at what, 8:30 this morning. It's now just after 6:15 right now in the evening, and I have a loaf of bread. So give it probably like 9 tonight. I like to give it a few. I noticed like a couple hours is good, but there's enough material here that it takes a little while for all that heat to dissipate. So like at least 3 hours. I noticed the last time I did it in the evening, and then I just put it in the microwave on the rack like this to let it cool in there overnight. So at least 3 hours or so to make sure it sweats it out and gets all the heat out, and then we'll taste it. But it does smell good and looks great. Next morning I'm going to cut it open, see what it looks like. Looks good. Let's take a look at the crumb a little bit. Pretty good pockets in there. Feels okay. Smells good. The crust, I'm a little bit concerned about. It seems like it wants to separate, but maybe not. Texture feels right. Let's give it a taste. Normally I always like to have it toasted, but this is going to benefit a lot from a toast. But the overall flavor is good. So, another loaf of bread for the week.